Hello world, it's Dave again, and this is another one of my question and answer videos for anybody who writes me an email and has some questions concerning teaching in Japan. As soon as I can, and this is going to be a bit of a late response, but I hope it's still useful for Mr. Denton. I'll respond and I'll do my best to answer any of the questions that you have. And some of these questions, if anybody has watched my channel a bit, they might be a little repetitious, but it doesn't matter. I figure a lot of people don't necessarily have time to go through every single video I've made, although I do try and create playlists, and I don't mind answering them again. It's not like I have thousands of subscribers, so this is interesting for me to do. I'll just jump into it and start trying to answer some of Marius's questions, or Marinus. Okay, let's see. So we jump into his questions. Looking at your email here, Marinus. It says, do you maybe know of other schools that you can apply without having to fly to another country like the US to do an interview? And you've said here, Marinus, that you looked at Interact. Interact is actually the company that I work for, and I've had a good experience with them so far. You know, nothing is ever flawless, but it's been a good experience. I've rarely in any other job that I've had been paid correctly and consistently, and they seem to be pulling that off well enough, so I'm pretty happy with them, and I would recommend them as a company. I've had a good experience. You might have a few bumps in the road, but that's to be expected of anything. The grass will always be greener. There will always be some things that seem apparently better, but it's pretty good, rounded out. So, your question was, though, are there other companies that will give you interviews aside from Interact where you don't have to travel to some other crazy destination to take part in the interview? And absolutely, I think that you can. I mean, I know for a fact that there's Peppy Kids Club. I mean, I've done a video dedicated to them, and they'll do interview processes, I think, through Skype and stuff like that. So to answer your question without making it a big long thing, absolutely, you can go with other companies like Jet, I believe, does it as well, but Peppy Kids Club, and then Interact, which you already know about. So there are other companies, but Interact definitely allows for that sort of interview process to occur where you're not going somewhere crazy. Next thing, you would like to live in Tokyo. Is there places that you can choose what place you want to stay and teach when you are in Japan? Simple answer for that one. So whenever you come over, I believe any company whatsoever will give you a questionnaire in regards to where it is that you actually do want to teach. The thing that you need to be aware of is that somewhere like Osaka, somewhere like maybe Nagoya, somewhere like Tokyo especially, for many reasons, is a very, very popular spot, and a lot of people want to teach there. And so generally speaking, there's a sort of priority given to somebody who's already been working in the country for a year, and then if they continue or sign a new contract, they'll say, did you want to move schools and maybe work in Tokyo? But that is not to say that it doesn't occur within somebody's first year that they can get that. I know a girl that when I came over the year ago now, she said that she wanted Tokyo, and then she ended up with that assignment. There you go. So it's not a rule that you won't get those, but like I'm saying, you should be aware of the fact that there is a priority given to people who have already been here for a little while and are renewing, but it doesn't altogether eliminate the possibility. So there you go. That answers your question. That also answers another question you had where it says, if you did a great job in the first year, can you say you want to stay for 1 or 2 years more in an English teaching job? Absolutely you can. I mean, I know a guy in the office for my company who was teaching here for 5 years, and this is my second year. So I've signed another contract. I'm staying for 2 years. And it's funny, I was so determined when I first started this second year. I was like, I think I've finally come to this conclusion where I will stay for 2 years. But now that I'm getting into it even a little bit more, I was like, hell, this has gone really good for me, and it continues to. I'm only enjoying now the second year a great deal, more comfortable in a number of different ways. Maybe I stay for 3. I don't know. But answering that question in short, absolutely. You can stay for multiple years provided you're doing a good job and you got a good rapport with your schools and stuff. No reason you can't keep going on with it. Now, another question. Once you have a job in Japan as an English teacher, can you also, in your free time or some holidays, do work as a musician or a video editor for music videos, movies, commercials in Japan? Can foreigners teach English and do music and film work in Japan? Absolutely you can. Once you get your visa, which will usually be sponsored by the company, that's what Interact does when they say that they're going to hire you, They will then sponsor you for your work visa. Once you've got that together, then there's nothing that prevents you. I mean, it'll say in your contract that you can't take work on that's going to conflict with what you already have to do, and I think that'll be universal across all other companies that you apply with. But it doesn't say anywhere that you can take no part in any other work. For example, I know teachers that take on additional private lessons with students, and so they're making a little extra money on the side teaching private lessons to a family that they've gotten to know, and where they, head over to that person's house and then teach the kid after school in private lessons. And so if you're qualified for it, and very clearly you are from all the educational information that you gave, you can teach work outside of teaching. The only thing that you want to make sure of is that it doesn't conflict with your teaching. But that's not necessarily a problem. Especially as you start to get your feet wet, and maybe you start with a little bit of work like that. But you could even work it into a kind of transition where you've done enough good work with that, video editing or like movies or commercials or whatever, that company then wants to sponsor you in the following year. So you move out from getting your visa sponsored by the teaching company over to this new company that you were working a little bit with, but then develop a relationship with. So again, short answer, yes, you can work outside of your teaching job provided it doesn't conflict with it. It goes on here. I'm a native English speaker. English was a subject I did in school for 12 years. You got a Bachelor of Arts degree in motion picture film medium. You're doing English lessons, training material to take my English to the next level, and you're getting a TEFL and all this crazy stuff. And you're going to learn Japanese. So you're prepared, more prepared, and over-prepared. So the singular important thing that you have when you come over here, although some people may say otherwise, but the more that I understand it, this seems to be the one non-negotiable, is that you need to, not only did you need to have, you've stated, like, grow up in an English-speaking institution where you went to school, but you need to have at least a bachelor's level degree from a post-secondary institution, which you have. So because you have that, you're in great shape. And then the more the language that you learn, you're just going to enjoy yourself. It goes without saying. The more Japanese that you speak, the better time you're going to have in Japan. It'll make it a lot less stressful. So you're totally set up in terms of your qualifications. What you need is a bachelor, at least, and then to have spent that time growing up in the English-speaking institution. So if you say, next question, moving on, we're almost done. So if you prefer not to drive, but rather to take trains, is that okay? They can't force you to drive in the job description, right? Now, I have to be careful here because I don't know about other companies, but Interact certainly doesn't. You can state, I'll just commute through trains and stuff like that, and they'll cover your travel expenses, at least in Interact. And the other companies that I'm aware of, they do not insist that you would rent a vehicle or something like that. So yeah, you can absolutely take the trains. That's no problem. There you go. That was actually really concise. So I hope that answers all your questions. I apologize. I've been very busy. I mean, your email came here on April 20th, and it's now May 10th that I'm responding to it. But if somebody on YouTube hasn't already answered your questions, this is the best that I can answer them, and I hope you find it useful. If you do have any other questions that arise from this video, please don't hesitate to write again, and I'll do my best to answer those as well. And for anybody else who's checking this out, not necessarily Marinus, Mr. Denton, feel free to email me. My contact information is always down below in the description. I do my best to answer any questions, as stated already. And yeah, if you enjoy the video, find it useful, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff that is always said. And like I like to say, until we meet again next time, world, thanks for tripping with Dave. Ciao for now. Peace.